What's up, guys? This is Ali, and I'm with Richie, episode 7 of Loyal Media Sports Podcast. How are you doing, Richie?
I'm doing great. Jamal Adams is no more a Jet, man. Crazy.
I mean, we have a lot to talk about, especially with training camp starting. Sam Darnold had a couple words. Joe Douglas had a couple words to say, so let's just get started right away. So what was your initial thoughts when you got the alert that Jamal Adams got traded?
Well, me personally, I did not expect it to happen at that time because we got so many conflicting reports that Joe Douglas is open to trading Jamal. And then the morning of the trade that actually happened, we get another report. Joe Douglas is not trading Jamal Adams. And then a couple hours later, around 4 o'clock, I get the news Jamal Adams is traded to Seattle. So I was just completely starstruck. I was like, whoa. And my initial reaction was, what did we get? Because we didn't know what we got at that time. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jamal's on the Seattle Seahawks. What did we get? And I came down here and I was recording a video for my YouTube channel to give my initial reactions to this news. And when I found out the haul that Joe Douglas got, I just started giving a round of applause. I was just so happy that he was able to get the 2 first-round picks. It's funny because I actually made a trade scenario video on my YouTube channel. Yeah, the day after Jamal Adams requested a trade. And one of the 5 trade scenarios I had was Jamal to Seattle for 2 first-round picks and a 4th. And we ended up getting 2 first-round picks, a 3rd, and Bradley McDougald, and we gave up Jamal and a 4th. So I was really close. I was like, wow, I was proud of myself for doing that. So we got 2 first-round picks, a 3rd, and a player. I don't think we could have got a better haul from this. Joe Douglas was patient. We found out that he was talking to Seattle for a month, and they were the most aggressive player. So I'm really happy that Joe Douglas was able to get this. Again, Jamal Adams, excellent player. On the field, he's going to be the best safety in the league, in my opinion. Still, he's going to be even better in Seattle because their culture there is great. Pete Carroll's an excellent coach. A guy like Bobby Wagner, one of the best middle linebackers in the league. He's going to be excellent on the field. But off the field, we never know with Jamal Adams, and he wants to retire the Seattle Seahawks. We don't know if that's going to happen. But long story short, my initial reaction was low-key a little heartbroken just because you guys know me. I love Jamal Adams. I wanted him a Jet for life. But at the same time, everything that's happened, it had to happen. You know, Jamal Adams just did not want to be here. He did not want to be a New York Jet. And the culture that Joe Douglas is building, you can't have somebody on the team that just doesn't want to be a Jet.
Yeah, I mean, you hit every initial reaction that I had. When I got the news, I wasn't upset. I wasn't as upset as I should be. And because maybe I was just fed up with Jamal Adams stuff now. At this point, I was just, let's just get it over with. I was surprised that Joe Douglas got this done so quickly, but he's been in talks with the Seahawks for 2-3 weeks before that trade happened, before Jamal Adams bashed Adam Gase and Joe Douglas and the owner. So it's just really interesting to see how Joe Douglas got so much for Jamal Adams, especially you got a safety that could play. He could still play, and he took over a lot of big-time safeties in Seattle, their spots too. So we are getting a baller in, what's his name, McDougald.
Yeah.
And, I hope Jamal Adams the best of luck, but the way he's handled it, a lot of people have called him a fraud. Jet fans are hating on him, for sure. It doesn't seem like he really cares. He brought up something about the pandemic or something like that when he was a couple weeks ago when he commented on someone else saying that the pandemic was just an excuse, and now he's mentioning as an explanation for the pandemic, which doesn't make sense to me because he doesn't know what he's saying. He has absolutely no idea what he's talking about, and that's what's pissing a lot of people off. That, what are you saying, dude? Just stop talking. Just keep your mouth shut and play football. That's all you need to do. But now I'm happy he's happy, and the Jets are happy now too with their draft picks. And like you said, Joe Douglas can finally build his own team.
Exactly. And you hit it on the nail as well. When I found out that Jamal requested a trade, I had a feeling, the day this happens, I'm going to be really pissed. I'm not going to be happy. But the day it happened, I wasn't as upset as I thought I was because I kind of felt like it happened before it happened, if that makes sense. Like, I knew it was going to happen. I was mentally preparing myself for it. I'm like, you know what? Jamal Adams is not going to be a Jet. Like, there's no way he's going to play this year. There's rumors that, like, the Jets have all the leverage, so they shouldn't trade him. But, like, you know what? You don't want somebody in the locker room throughout the whole training camp that just doesn't want to be here. So for it to finally happen, it happened. And I wish Jamal Adams the best of luck. But one thing that's really interesting that I love about this trade is we trade away our best player on the entire team in Jamal Adams, and we get a guy in Bradley McDougald. And the safety position is not a weakness for this team. You would think that our best player, our superstar player, leaving the team, who is a safety, now we need a new safety. But we have depth. We have Marcus May, rookie Ashton Davis, and Bradley McDougald. Those are three guys that Greg Williams is going to utilize to perfection. And we know Greg Williams, he's a player's coach. He loves utilizing players in all these different schemes. And Bradley McDougald he's very versatile. No, he's not a Jamal Adams talent-wise, but he can do it all. He's a ball hawk. He can hit hard. He's really good at man-to-man. That's what he's really good at. He was actually 4th PFF graded out of all safeties, and he has 5 interceptions in the last 2 years. So we're getting a ball hawking guy. Now we kind of have 3 ball hawks at that safety position in Marcus May. Ashton Davis was a ball hawk in California, and Bradley McDougald. So I'm really surprised that Joe Douglas was able to get McDougald in this trade, because I was worried that when we traded Jamal Adams, our safety position was just going to be Marcus May, and we have to depend on a rookie. I trust in Ashton Davis, but I don't know if I trust him in 2020 right away as a rookie. So to get a veteran presence in Bradley McDougald is just so well. So what do you really think that Joe Douglas is going to do with these draft picks? So we see that there's still players out there that we can trade for in Ngakoue. There's rumors of Juju. There's people saying the Jets should be creative with these draft picks and go out and get those. So do you think we should hold on to these picks and let Joe Douglas utilize them in the draft, or should we trade them away?
Well, first, let me just say something about McDougald one more time.
Yeah.
The thing between him and Jamal is McDougald wants to be a New York Jet. I mean, he's been so excited since he got drafted. I mean, he just talked to media Friday afternoon, and he said that he was eating dinner with his family when he received a call from Pete Carroll and John Schneider for the trade. And this is what he quoted. He said, it almost like his voice echoed in my head, and he continued to speak for like 2 more minutes, and all I heard in my head was Jets, Jets, Jets. That's what he said. So he's been wanting to be a New York Jet. And we got finally guys that want to be a New York Jet, and that's what we need. That's what Joe Douglas wants. It's a different culture. We want to be here. And, I think Jet fans are going to love McDougald of all the things he's been saying, all the support he's gotten from all his players, and the clowny stuff that he brought up as well. So fans are loving him already. Now back to the draft. I think the Jets, Joe Douglas is going to keep the picks unless we get a really crazy offer for a really good player. I think the Jets need to finally get some star players from the draft and build from the draft. That's how you build a winning team, and that's what they need right now. You can't get a Yannick who's been a complete mess right now. I'm not a huge fan of bringing him in. I don't think Douglas is a fan of bringing him in either. I think it's going to be too much, and it's too much of a hassle. It might be another Jamal Adams scenario. So what I'm thinking is I think the Jets should keep the draft picks and just use it and maybe move around the draft order. They have 2 first-round picks now for next 2 years. They can build this team very quickly. Offensive line, cornerback they can build over. What else position? Maybe offensive line, like I said. Maybe
corner.
Maybe safety, depending on how they do this year. But, the Jets need to go from that aspect.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Joe Douglas should hold on to these picks and not trade away picks for players, because the culture that Joe Douglas is trying to build here, he's trying to build a culture where the players we draft, they are playing at a high enough level where we will extend them after the rookie contracts, and they will be long-term Jets. So we already saw the first draft with Joe Douglas and Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, Bryce Hall, all those guys. The hope for these guys is that all these players will perform at a high level in their rookie contracts, and we will re-sign them. There's a lot of talk about this past decade that the Jets are known for. All of our past first-round picks this decade, we're going all the way back to D. Milner, Darren Lee, Calvin Pryor, Sheldon Richardson, Muhammad, all these first-round picks, Jamal Adams, we traded away. And that's not a culture. You have to hit on your first-round picks, extend them, and they will be your core guys. So hopefully this is the beginning. And Joe Douglas is, as a GM, he is raved about from other NFL executives around the league that he is the best at scouting. He He understands the draft, and that's what Joe Douglas is the best at. So give Joe Douglas the ammunition in having 2 first-round picks the next 2 years, an additional third-round pick this year as well. And this is what Joe Douglas wants to do. I always preach about Joe Douglas's long-term vision and how he's really looking in the future rather than the long term. And this is exactly what Joe Douglas needs to build this team the right way. This Jets team has so many other needs besides offensive line. I mean, there's so many needs that we need to fill the hole in premium positions like edge, corner, wide receiver, O-line. Now we have all this draft capital. It really gives us flexibility to move around the draft, like you said, move up, move down. And it gives Joe Douglas really an option to build this team the way he wants to. And I am so happy that Joe Douglas has this ammunition because we saw what he did last year and the way he traded back and acquired draft picks. Now that we have the draft picks, it's going to make him have way more flexibility. And I just cannot wait to see Joe Douglas do this. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, I love Jamal Adams and I still wish they signed him to an extension, but that's in the past. So we're not going to dwell on that. Looking at it right now, if the Jets gave him a contract extension for $15, $16 million per year, whatever he wanted, we would have had a lot of money tied into Jamal, and the NFL was set to lose $25 million in cap space next year, and we would be ridiculed. We wouldn't have the draft capital like we have, and we would have to win right away. Like if we gave Jamal Adams that contract, that means we'd have to win in 2020 and win in 2021. We're banking on the next 2 seasons. Now that Joe Douglas got rid of Jamal and we have this draft capital, it gives us a lot more patience. And I know Jets fans hate this word, patience, but it really is true. This is not the normal Jets general manager where it's like he's trying to win next year. He's building this team the right way, and it takes time. You saw the video of Le'Veon Bell after the trade deadline and how much of a leader he is. Le'Veon Bell is preaching patience, and he's saying it does not take 1 year to build this team the right way, and he understands that. And that's what Jets fans have to understand. We have to give Joe Douglas 2 off seasons, maybe even 3, to really build this thing the right way, build around Sam Darnold, build the foundation on defense. And I think that this Jets team is really trending in the right direction. I don't think that it's going to all of a sudden 2020 we're in the Super Bowl, but 2021, 2022, this team will look completely different. And I'm really excited for the future for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to keep saying this, but we got to rebuild. It's a rebuilding phase again. I know Jeff fans are very sick of that word, especially the older audience that we have. You guys are sick of that, but I mean, Joe Douglas has shown signs of changing this team around. I mean, I know we just lost our star player, Jamal Adams, but he didn't want to be here. He wanted to be in Dallas. He wanted to be in Seattle. He did not want to be here anymore. And it just made sense to look at the future with the picks and just get other guys that actually want to be here. Get weapons for Sam Darnold, your quarterback that will change the outcome of the game. Jamal Adams did not change the outcome of the game. That's a replaceable position. I know Jamal Adams is going to be a top 3 safety, maybe top in the league for years, but that's not going to make them win games. Sam Darnold is going to make you win games, and you need weapons for Sam Darnold. And that's what the draft picks could be used for. And to build this team from scratch and help Sam Darnold win games, be protected, and hopefully we can finally have our franchise quarterback, because Sam Darnold is much more important than Jamal Adams ever was. So that's what their focus is. And Joe Douglas has stated that since he got here, that Sam Darnold was the reason he came to New York, because there's a lot of potential in this team. And he sees the potential like I and you see in Sam Darnold. So that's more important right now, and nothing else matters. And I know Jamal Adams put Adam Gase under the bus, Joe Douglas under the bus, but, you know, Joe Douglas had a press conference. He took care of that. You know, he took Adam Gase's side. He's saying there's nothing wrong about Adam Gase. He also went on Michael K's show, and he pretty much said that he's pissed off. He is pissed off at Jamal Adams right now, that he pretty much said, I lied, and it kind of hurts. But he kept us calm, as the GM should, and said that we'll see you week 14 or week 16. I forgot which week. But he said that. He's like, we'll be ready for you, and we'll see it on the field. That's what we want to see. And I think Jamal Adams just screwed the Jets over completely. And you shouldn't have – maybe the Jets were wrong in many ways, but you shouldn't go public with it. It should have not gone this public, and the Jets were forced to trade him. And it just was not, I don't know. It's just the same thing over and over, how he puts everyone under the bus. And I'm glad Jamal Adams is gone because there's less distraction for this team and they can just focus on playing football now.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to just what Jamal Adams did was he put himself over the team and he wants to do what's best for him. And he just doesn't care about the New York Jets. He was over them. It just doesn't make sense because earlier in February or something, he defended Adam Gase and he said that he's a good coach. And then he comes around this and calls him out on his leadership. And then we hear Joe Douglas's point of view of Adam Gase, and he thinks Adam Gase's leadership is the right guy for this team. And Sam Darnold backed up Adam Gase. So it's good to see Joe Douglas defend Adam Gase. And I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, he has to defend Adam Gase. He's GM. But if you really listen to the way he worded what he's talked about Adam Gase, and it's not even like somebody asked him about Adam Gase. He opened up the press conference. Joe Douglas opened up the press conference without any questions, and he talked about the whole situation. And then he talked about Adam Gase, and he was genuinely supporting Gase. It wasn't forced. It didn't sound like he was just saying it. Like, he really thinks that Adam Gase, what he saw from Adam Gase last year, the way they started 1-7, and then the way he galvanized the guys and finished the season off 6-2. And even though they had a soft schedule, that shows a lot of leadership qualities. I know me personally, I've been ridiculing Adam Gase. I look at him and I don't really see the leadership qualities in him, but maybe I'm wrong. And I hope I'm wrong. I trust Joe Douglas more than I trust my eyes. Joe Douglas is way more football knowledge than I will ever have. So if Joe Douglas believes in Adam Gase, and I do too, I'm rooting for Adam Gase. I hope he proves me wrong. And I hope at the end of this season, all Jets fans are banking for Adam Gase to return and Sam Darnold is prospering. And we also see Sam Darnold rooting for Adam Gase. We see Le'Veon Bell talking about how much more comfortable he is in this system. There's a lot of things that goes into Adam Gase as a coach, and he has such a complex offensive system where guys like Sam Darnold going into year 2 and Le'Veon Bell, and now guys like Sam Darnold is going to become a leader, and he's going to be teaching the new guys, the rookies of things, and that's what's going to make Sam Darnold understand the system even more. I think that's what's going to really elevate Sam Darnold's game. We know he has a talent. He has the arm talent. He has the mobility. He has the improvisation. He has the pocket awareness. He maybe has some decision-making problems, which is okay. But when he can understand this playbook like the back of his hand, he doesn't have to worry about the play or worry about this, and it's just so natural to him, that's the Sam Darnold that's going to take the next step. And another thing I want to hit on that is driving me crazy when I see on Twitter, there's people talking about the Jets drafting Trevor Lawrence next year if the Jets don't do well. I'm sorry, I could not disagree more. People are saying, well, oh, Joe Douglas didn't draft Sam Darnold. Well, Ali, you hit on this. Joe Douglas came to the Jets because of Sam Darnold. So for the people saying like Joe Douglas didn't draft Sam Darnold, so he's on a short leash, and if he doesn't perform at a high level, he's gone, that's not happening. I'm sorry. Sam Darnold is this guy. Yes, I know he didn't really show like he is the franchise future of the Jets franchise quarterback yet. He improved in year 2. And yes, this year will be a big season for Sam Darnold, but I still think that Sam Darnold is the franchise quarterback for this New York Jets team in the future.
Yeah, I mean, whoever said Trevor Lawrence needs to I watch football. I mean, why would we have a young quarterback in Sam Darnold? I mean, he's only like 2-3 years older than me. I mean, that's very, very young for an NFL. And he's been in the NFL for 2 years already too.
Another thing about that, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it just really drives me crazy. Like, if we drafted Trevor Lawrence, what we're doing, it's going to be no different. Sam Darnold was an excellent prospect coming out. Trevor Lawrence, excellent prospect. If we just draft quarterbacks and put them in crappy situations, it's going to be the same thing. Put Sam Darnold on a team like the Baltimore Ravens or even the Buffalo Bills. It would not be the Sam Darnold we see on the Jets. If we draft a guy like Trevor Lawrence, a young guy, really good in college, he would not do anything on the Jets, just like Sam Darnold.
And they're definitely not looking at a quarterback. I don't know why people are thinking that.
I just had to bring it up.
This draft, we drafted James Morgan. We drafted a quarterback already. Why would we draft another quarterback next year? That does not make sense. But, that's a topic I'm not going to even talk about because that's absolutely retarded. But the one guy that I've really been happy with is Le'Veon Bell. I mean, everything he says, every Jet fan is loving. The way he talked to Jamal Adams, the way he's always tweeting that he's at the Jets camp and he's like, let's go. And like, he's pretty much tweeting, like even today he posted something about going to camp and he's like, almost time to play ball. He's just a guy that wants to play and he wants to be a New York Jet. He wants to be with Sam Darnold, this offense. He's ready to go. That's what he wants to be a part of this team. He wants to learn. He wants to teach. And that's what we want as a leader. People thought Le'Veon Bell, when we signed him, he was not going to be the leader for this team. And he's become the leader of this team. Behind Sam Darnold, he is the leader. And I mean, there's so many guys that have supported him. And again, I can't thank Le'Veon Bell enough for, coming out at the right time for Jets fans so they can have a little bit of hope about this team.
I couldn't agree more. Le'Veon Bell has been nothing but everything this Jets team needed off the field. Leadership-wise, he is galvanizing this offense. He is proving that he has what it takes off the field and in the locker room to be that leadership role where guys gravitate towards him and want to learn from him and talk to him. And another player I want to talk about who arrived at camp in crazy shape is rookie Mekhi Becton. So when we drafted him, the one thing that all Jets fans, and not even just Jets fans, any scouts, one problem about Mekhi Becton, or one potential problem, was, can he maintain his weight? Can he stay in shape? Well, the Jets posted a video on social media of him putting on the equipment, and he looks slim. He looks like he lost like 25, 30 pounds already and put on pure muscle, and he looks crazy. And his trainer, Duke Mayweather, I think his name, he said, obviously he's going to be biased towards this guy, but he said, he's like, this guy has the potential to be the greatest of all time. If he has this size and this dominant presence to him, he really has potential to wreak havoc in year one. And another guy, Daniel Jeremiah, he's an NFL Network analysis, and a topic on their show was, which rookie do you think will have the biggest impact in the rookie season? And he said, big ticket 73, Mekhi Becton. He sees a lot in him. He's the biggest human being in the NFL. So I'm really excited to see Mekhi Becton. I love his energy. I love his personality. Him on Twitter, he's always hyping everything up. Anything that's positive about the Jets, you see Mekhi Becton quote tweeting it. And he's just such a good soul on this team. He's such a lovable guy. And the complete opposite of Mekhi Becton, social media-wise, another rookie, Denzel Mims, who I love, he's so quiet. He kind of reminds me of a Kawhi Leonard in the NBA. Silent killer, goes about his business, and he's a workaholic, and he's just going to put his head down and work, but we're not going to hear anything from him. So it's kind of interesting. We have those two dynamics in Mekhi Becton in the social media and being such a great personality, and Denzel Mims behind the scenes. We know he's working. We're not going to know a lot about him, but I'm hoping Denzel Mims can come out in the field and perform at a high level. I'm just really excited for this rookie class from Joe Douglas. I think that this rookie class is going to be huge for this Jets future. Like if we have a lot of players in the 2020 draft that we hit on, it's going to set this team up in the future tremendously. And I'm so excited to watch these rookies play.
I mean, we got finally a good-ass bodyguard for Sam Darnold and Mekhi Becton. I mean, when we drafted him, man, I was hyped. People were a little bit questionable about, again, like you said, the weight and all that stuff. I'm like, he's a tank. I mean, he's an absolute bodyguard. And, the Jets' offensive line is going to take a huge leap this year from what we saw last year. And that's huge for the Jets' offense in general. Sam Darnold, Le'Veon Bell, all these guys. It's a huge jump. And to see Mekhi Becton, just walking around on campus, just walking around, just being cool and talking to people, it's awesome. It's awesome seeing that, especially with the circumstances. We're not going to be able to see them in preseason. Pretty much, if the regular season happens, that's when we're going to see Denzel Mims, all these guys on the field. So it sucks a little bit, but it makes the anticipation a little bit better, just waiting for that chance to see the rookies that we're so excited about. And just it builds excitement a little bit, and no injuries from preseason. So hopefully we see a healthy Jets defense, healthy offense, and see how it goes. But yeah, when I saw Mekhi Becton, and honestly, when I saw everyone just coming in, Sam Darnold walking in, the pictures of Sam Darnold walking in, all these guys, that just hypes me up, man. I mean, it's football. There's a chance of football coming back. And just football. And there's a chance that we, are going to win football games, hopefully. And that's the chance that, every Jet fans, because I see so many comments being like, oh, we suck every year. Our offense sucks. Our line sucks. Our defense sucks. I mean, who knows? Like what you can't control that. We all that we have is hope, and I think the Jets have a lot of hope, but they just got to put everything together, and hopefully this season can be a little bit of a change for us.
Yeah, I agree. And there's another thing that hyped me up so much. And the Jets have their TV show, One Jets Drive. They come out with
Yeah,
episodes.
next
They
week.
just came out with a teaser trailer for the one that comes out next week. And I saw a snippet of Sam Darnold's trainer, Jordan Palmer, him talking about Sam Darnold. Man, the way they edit these videos, the music behind it, they just make Jets fans feel like we are going to the Super Bowl.
I know, man.
Like first, but what Jordan Palmer was saying about Sam Darnold, he said, if there's one player in the NFL that has a chip on his shoulder and is going to be working his ass off, it's Sam Darnold. And he said, quote unquote, he said, you guys don't, I'm not effing around. Sam Darnold is outworking everybody. He is on a mission. And that's what I want to hear from Sam Darnold's trainer. Like when I heard that and the way they edited it with the music and like showing Darnold, I'm like, wow, like I can literally
It's
just
go time.
I just can throw my head through the wall and like I just cannot wait for Jets football. But I think Sam Darnold is true. Sam Darnold off the field, his work ethic, his ability to just put his head down and work and not worry about the outside noise. I really think that he is the right guy to work on his weaknesses, work on his strengths, and develop. I think he's the perfect guy to develop his traits because he understands he has the work ethic. He's a really hard trainer. And for someone like Jordan Palmer to say that, and like again, he was not just saying that out of his mouth, just not believing it. Like you could feel Jordan Palmer's passion about what he thinks of Sam Darnold. And just so you know, the people that Sam Darnold's training with is guys like Josh Allen, Kyle Allen, Joe Burrow. So for him to say that Sam Darnold's outworking everyone, that says a lot. And I think that Sam Darnold is going to be a different quarterback this year. I said it last year, so I don't want to hype him up too much because I thought Sam Darnold was going to make that huge leap in year 2, and I was a little wrong, the mono, all that stuff. But I really think his second year in Adam Gase's offense and him understanding it even more and him having another offseason to work with Jordan Palmer, I really think we're going to see a different Sam Darnold this year, and I just can't wait for it. I really can't.
I mean, in Sam Darnold's head, I know it's pretty much he's locked in. He's like, it's go time. It's time to get back on track and prove people wrong. That win streak at the end of last year, they got to show that that was the actual legit football team that was playing. That's a legit team that's ready to play this year and ready to show a lot of people out that we're a good football team. And I think Sam Darnold is gonna show that. I'm so confident in Sam Darnold. If he's fully healthy, the offensive line can protect him, and his receivers can catch the ball. I mean, he's gonna have a great year. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind. Just everything has to be perfect for him, and everything has to be stable for him. It doesn't even have to be perfect because we've seen him succeed when it wasn't even perfect. The offensive line sucked, receivers can't catch the ball, and he still made plays that we have no idea how he made. And I mean, that one play where he was on the run to Robbie, and we were like, "Oh, you should have ran for 20 yards." He could have ran. He threw that pass anyways because he knew he could have made it. And he plays with confidence. That's what I like about him. He plays with confidence. He doesn't think about it too much. He did beginning, obviously the first play of his game was an interception, pick 6. But then after that, he was ready to go. After I saw that week Monday Night Football game, I knew we had something special and we had to work with him if we want to see him succeed. And he has all the talent in the world. And I think he's still the best quarterback in the QB class of his class. Even Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying that because I'm not trying to be biased, but Sam Darnold was on the top of my list. I just didn't like Lamar Jackson because all he does is run, and I'm not too anxious about his passing. Sam Darnold had all the traits for me. The way he speaks off the field, when he was asked about Jamal Adams, he pretty much said, "I don't control that stuff. I'm just working on me." And he's perfect for the New York media. And I mean, if we mess this up, man, I don't know. I lose a lot of life for the Jets. I mean, you have such a great prospect in Sam Darnold. You can't mess this up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it all comes down to what you put around your franchise quarterback. And I don't want to make any excuses for Sam Darnold. It's just the truth of the reality of this. Put Lamar Jackson on the Jets, Josh Allen on the Jets, even Baker Mayfield on the Jets. See what they can do. I mean, what Sam Darnold had to work with his first 2 years is just not good. And try to name me one quarterback in the NFL that has a bad situation around them and the quarterback's playing well. I mean, any quarterback that's really putting up numbers and they're winning football games, it's because they have a stable coach, they have a decent O-line, and they have a good offensive weapons around him. And that's exactly what Sam Darnold does not have. And I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, but it's just the truth of the reality of it. In order for a quarterback to succeed in this NFL, it can't be just all him. It has to be the head coach, it has to be the offensive mind, the weapons, and the offensive line. They all have to be in sync. And Sam Darnold has not had that all those things in sync yet. So hopefully this year will be different. And all these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks are prospering, like I keep saying, like a Lamar Jackson and a Josh Allen. They've had continuity. This is their third year going into the same system, and they have excellent coachings around them. Sam Darnold does not have that. And I know I said it over and over again. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just giving you the reality of it. You put Sam Darnold on a team like the Chiefs. No, he's not. I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. I don't expect him to put up 50 touchdowns because Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion. But Sam Darnold will be putting up way better numbers on the Chiefs if you got drafted to them out of the gate than on the Jets. Put Mahomes on the Jets. Mahomes will be balling out, obviously, but I don't think he would be MVP. I don't think he would be winning any Super Bowls yet. What I'm trying to say is it really comes down to the coach. There's a lot of factors that goes into quarterback play. So I'm hoping that Joe Douglas understands that and he gets continuity and Sam Darnold can really get comfortable and stay healthy and succeed in this year.
Yeah, I mean, the supporting cast for a quarterback is the most important thing. You've seen it with Tom Brady. You've seen it with Drew Brees. You've seen it with Ben Roethlisberger. You've seen all these guys succeed because of the supporting cast that they have. Wide receivers, coaches. You know, Tom Brady was with the Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame tight end. Drew Brees with the top wide receiver, Hall of Fame head coach. You know, all these guys had Hall of Fame guys playing with them. Who does Sam Darnold have that's a Hall of Fame besides Le'Veon Bell? There's no one on this team that you can say, oh, they're going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, the head coach has been a question mark since the beginning. You know, he got fired in Miami, and now he's a New York Jets football head coach. So he's not a Hall of Famer coach. The wide receivers are all question marks. We're just hoping that these wide receivers can break it out, but we don't have a star anywhere besides Le'Veon Bell. So what are you comparing here? I mean, you can look at Josh Allen, but he has actually a coach that is on the rise. You know, people like him. You know, their defense is good. Their offense makes plays. They got Stephon Diggs on their team now. I mean, that's what you do for your star quarterback. You bring the playmakers to him. And they have not brought many playmakers for Sam Darnold. I mean, Josh Allen finally could make a huge step because he got Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver now. Who do we have? We hope that Denzel Mims could be Stephon Diggs for us. We hope he can be AJ Green for us. We don't know yet. We hope. And that's what you can't do with your franchise quarterback. You got to protect him. You got to get him weapons. They did start protecting this year, at least. At least they did something to help him. And hopefully next year we can get him more weapons. And that's how this rebuild is going to happen. We just got to see Sam Darnold take a little bit of a jump. You know, how Josh Allen did. He was in the same system for 2 years, and that's why he's getting better and better. Sam Darnold is going to go the second year of Adam Gase. Hopefully he gets better this year. If he gets better, Adam Gase stays, and then we'll see what we'll go from there. But the most important thing is Sam Darnold to succeed. And if Sam Darnold can succeed this year, I think Adam Gase stays the head coach because he knows that system. And I do not want another system to come in if Sam Darnold is comfortable with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think continuity is the biggest factor when it comes to successful quarterback play. And I can go on and on about all this. I really hope that this continuity can really stay here. We have a solidified offensive line. We're going to have some guys on offensive line for a while with Mekhi Becton. Connor McGovern signed a 3-year deal. Even Greg Van Roten signed a 3-year deal. George Fant signed a 3-year deal. Alex Lewis. So we have a lot of guys that are going to be on this team for a while, and definitely we're going to upgrade next year. We're going to draft new offensive linemen and sign new offensive linemen. But I think the wide receiver group is going to be detrimental. Also, the tight end group, rising star Chris Herndon, I think he has potential to break out. Ryan Griffin. So there's a lot of question marks. Like you said, they're unproven guys. like it's not like the Bills. They have a Stephon Diggs who's a proven star in this league. And it's his first year on the Buffalo Bills, but you know what Stephon Diggs brings to the table. We don't know what Denzel Mims has done yet. He's a rookie. We don't know which Rashad Perriman we're getting. We know what consistent Jameson Crowder we're getting. He's his second year in Casey's system. He's going to be our slot receiver, but it's a lot of question marks. So the only thing we can do is sit back and watch and wait and see what happens. And I'm just hoping that it just feels like it's a comfortable environment. If it gets to the point where there's too many injuries all over again and it just gets unstable and we have to fire Gase, it's just going to become a nightmare. Only time will tell. And yeah, so that's really does it for this episode of Loyal Media Sports Podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to episode 7. Any last words for you, Ali?
Enjoy camp, guys. Enjoy sports. Sports are back. Basketball is back. So we're gonna be starting to talk about a little bit about those sports soon too. It's starting to get back into normal in sports world. So stay tuned. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in and stay tuned on next week. Like Ali said, we'll be talking about all Mets, Yankees, Brooklyn Nets. We can even talk about the Knicks' new head coach, Rangers, Islanders, all that good stuff. So make sure you stay tuned and we'll catch you guys in next week's episode. Peace out.
See ya.